Nostradamus' shocking prophecy about 3 days of darkness. Nostradamus. The very name evokes images of mystery, ancient wisdom, and visions of the future. For centuries, this French seer has fascinated both scholars and skeptics alike with his cryptic quatrains, written in a language as enigmatic as the man himself. His predictions, often interpreted in countless ways, have withstood the test of time, continuing to captivate the imaginations of millions around the world. Yet, among all his prophecies, there is one that stands out as particularly chilling, the prophecy of the 3 days of darkness. What is it about this dark omen that stirs both fear and awe in those who encounter it? A period of total darkness enveloping the earth, foretelling calamities that strike at the very core of human existence. Some say it is an apocalyptic warning. Others view it as a spiritual reckoning. The 3 days of darkness has inspired endless speculation, leaving many to ponder, is this a foreshadowing of the end of times, or simply a metaphor for the darkness that looms over humanity's future? In this article, we will journey through the key prophecies of Nostradamus, with a special focus on the ominous 3 days of darkness. We'll explore its possible meanings, its connection to past events, and the impact it may have on our future. Is this prophecy a warning, a divine test, or a glimpse into a destiny we are yet to understand? Let's uncover the layers of mystery that surround Nostradamus' most haunting vision. Chapter 1, The Prophecy of the 3 Days of Darkness. One of the most striking prophecies attributed to Nostradamus is that of the 3 days of darkness, described as a period of total darkness that will envelope the earth for 3 days. This event is said to be preceded by celestial phenomena such as eclipses or planetary alignments. According to Nostradamus, during this time, the sun will be obscured, the moon will act abnormally, and humanity will face an unprecedented calamity. Some interpretations suggest that this dark period will be both a physical and spiritual reckoning, marking a time when humanity's transgressions reach their peak, and divine judgment is imminent. What makes this prophecy particularly eerie is the suggestion that this period of darkness will not just be a natural phenomenon but also a spiritual trial. Humanity, according to Nostradamus, will be forced to confront its sins, and those who fail to remain vigilant and faithful will suffer the consequences. The 3 days of darkness will not only signal a cosmic catastrophe, but also test the moral and spiritual fortitude of every individual. It is a moment when humanity's weaknesses, indulgences, and wrongdoings will be exposed, and there will be no place to hide from the consequences. But amidst this deepening darkness, Nostradamus also offers hope. He suggests that those who stay faithful, those who hold fast to their spiritual beliefs and moral compass, will be shielded from the worst of the calamities. For the faithful, this period of darkness will not be a time of suffering, but a test of endurance. Their unwavering belief in divine protection will offer them solace during the darkest hours. The prophecy, in essence, offers a glimpse of redemption amid chaos, showing that even in the most harrowing of trials, there is a possibility for divine intervention. What makes this prophecy especially gripping is its spiritual depth. While the 3 days of darkness may seem like a literal prediction of an apocalyptic event, it also suggests a deeper, more existential warning, the consequences of ignoring spiritual values and moral integrity. The darkness, therefore, becomes a metaphor for the internal darkness we each must confront. Are we living in alignment with our higher principles? Are we prepared to face a time of reckoning? Whether it comes as a physical disaster or a moral trial, this cosmic event, with its ominous tone, might seem like a distant or improbable occurrence. Yet, in the context of today's rapidly changing world, where environmental degradation, social unrest, and a general disregard for spiritual principles prevail, it's easy to see why Nostradamus' prophecy continues to resonate. As we grapple with the consequences of our collective actions, it raises a critical question: will we heed the warning and remain steadfast in our faith and values? Or will we falter in the face of the inevitable trials that lie ahead? In the end, the 3 days of darkness is not just a prophecy of destruction, but a powerful reminder of the resilience that faith and moral integrity can offer in the darkest of times. For those who are prepared, who live with purpose and conviction, there is a promise of divine protection and hope beyond the shadow of calamity. Chapter 2, Prophecies of Natural Disasters and Societal Collapse. In addition to the 3 days of darkness, Nostradamus's prophecies also point to a series of devastating natural disasters that he believed would signal a period of global upheaval. These events, which he described in vivid and often ominous terms, include catastrophic earthquakes, violent volcanic eruptions, massive storms, and strange atmospheric phenomena. According to Nostradamus, these disasters would not be isolated incidents but part of a broader cosmic shift, reflecting the instability of the planet and the imbalance between humanity and nature. One of the most alarming aspects of Nostradamus's predictions is his description of fire rains, mysterious and destructive torrents of fire that would fall from the sky. While some of these descriptions may seem fantastical, they echo the widespread concern in today's world at the increasing frequency of extreme weather events. Wildfires, floods, droughts, and hurricanes have become more intense and frequent in recent years, with each disaster leaving behind a trail of devastation. Nostradamus's fire rains, often interpreted as a metaphor for the destructive forces unleashed by the planet, resonate deeply in our era of climate change. The connection between Nostradamus's predictions and modern environmental concerns is not far-fetched. The devastation he foresaw in his quatrains could be seen as a response to humanity's disregard for nature's balance. In many ways, we have pushed the earth to its limits. Deforestation, pollution, and the burning of fossil fuels have all contributed to a growing environmental crisis. Could it be that Nostradamus was warning of an impending cosmic reckoning for humanity's negligence? Some scholars and environmentalists have suggested that the disasters Nostradamus described were not just the result of natural forces but a reflection of a greater cosmic imbalance, a response to the way humanity has treated the earth. As we watch the rise in frequency and intensity of natural disasters today, it is hard to ignore the parallels between Nostradamus's visions and our own experiences. Earthquakes that shake entire cities, tsunamis that wipe out entire coastal regions, and wildfires that ravage forests are all too common in recent decades. These events seem to defy explanation. And as the climate continues to change, many are left wondering whether we are witnessing the early stages of the cosmic upheaval Nostradamus predicted. In addition to the environmental disasters, Nostradamus also prophesied societal collapse, linked to the breakdown of civilization in the face of these cataclysmic events. He foresaw a time when human societies would crumble under the weight of natural disasters, economic instability, and political turmoil. The chaos that would ensue would not only be physical but also societal, as institutions and systems of governance are tested beyond their limits. According to Nostradamus, this societal collapse would lead to widespread suffering and the disintegration of social order. This concept of societal collapse is perhaps more relevant now than ever. With growing income inequality, political polarization, and global tensions, many fear that the fabric of society is starting to unravel. Social unrest, the breakdown of political institutions, and the erosion of public trust in leadership all point to the possibility of a fragile societal structure. As resources become scarcer and competition for survival intensifies, the danger of societal collapse looms large. Could Nostradamus have been warning of a time when human civilization, weakened by its own excesses, would be unable to withstand the force of nature and the pressures of an unstable world? In this context, Nostradamus's warnings serve as a powerful reminder of our current state. His prophecies urge us to reflect on our relationship with nature and with each other. Are we truly prepared to face the calamities that could be right around the corner? Are we doing enough to address the environmental challenges that threaten the planet's health? Are we building resilient systems that can weather the storm, both literally and metaphorically, when the inevitable disasters strike? The question remains, are we heeding Nostradamus's warnings? Or are we allowing ourselves to be lulled into a false sense of security, waiting for the inevitable to unfold? With each passing day, the signs become more apparent that we are living in a world on the brink of transformation, whether we are ready for it or not. Nostradamus's prophecies may offer a glimpse into a future filled with turmoil. But they also serve as a call to action, urging us to change course before it is too late. As natural disasters and societal breakdowns become more frequent, we must ask ourselves, how much longer can we ignore the warnings of the past before they become our reality? Chapter 3: The Spiritual Punishment and Human Decline. While Nostradamus's prophecies often focus on catastrophic natural events, one of the most chilling aspects of his foresight is the spiritual turmoil he predicted for humanity. His quatrains describe a world beset by moral decay, with a warning that humanity's indulgence in corruption, greed, and violence would lead to inevitable divine punishment. Nostradamus frequently likened the world to the biblical cities of Sodom and Gomorrah, infamous for their decadence and immorality, which, according to the Bible, were destroyed by divine wrath. In Nostradamus's view, the same fate awaited a society that strayed too far from the principles of justice, compassion, and moral integrity. What makes Nostradamus's warnings particularly haunting is the speed and severity with which he predicted this spiritual reckoning. He believed that the judgment would come swiftly, without mercy, when humanity's moral failings reached their peak. This divine judgment would not be a gradual process but a sharp and sudden correction, forcing the world to confront its transgressions. The very fabric of civilization, once held together by shared values and ethical principles, would unravel as people were forced to face the consequences of their actions. This concept of spiritual punishment feels increasingly relevant in today's world. As we navigate the complexities of modern life, we are confronted with rising inequality, corruption, and a general disregard for fundamental human values. Political leaders, business elites, and even everyday citizens seem to be prioritizing personal gain over the well-being of others, creating a society rife with injustice and moral conflict. The growing wealth gap, the erosion of democratic institutions, and the increasing tolerance of violence and exploitation may be seen as modern manifestations of the spiritual decline Nostradamus warned about. In our world, moral relativism, the idea that there is no absolute right or wrong, has gained prominence, leading to confusion and disillusionment about ethical standards. With rising levels of corruption in governments, businesses, and social institutions, it's easy to see how humanity could be walking down the same path as the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah. The unchecked pursuit of wealth, the glorification of power, and the rise of egotism over empathy all paint a picture of a society in moral freefall. These societal shifts are inextricably linked to the broader environmental and social upheavals Nostradamus predicted. As the physical world teeters on the edge of collapse, so too does the moral structure of society. How many of us, as individuals and communities, are prepared to face such spiritual trials? Nostradamus's prophecies urge us to look inward and reflect on our own lives. Are we living in alignment with our highest values? Do we foster compassion, integrity, and fairness in our actions? Or are we contributing to the decay by ignoring the suffering of others and turning a blind eye to injustice? The lessons of the past, particularly those concerning the downfall of great civilizations due to moral corruption, offer a stark warning. The moral failings Nostradamus described were not just individual misdeeds but systemic issues that plagued entire societies. As greed and violence overtook the fundamental principles of justice and compassion, the fabric of those societies began to disintegrate. The same issues persist today on a global scale: economic systems that perpetuate inequality, political systems that prioritize power over the people, and social systems that value profit over human dignity. These challenges are not new, but they have become more pronounced in recent decades, leaving many to wonder if we are heading toward a similar fate. It is crucial to consider what actions can be taken to avoid falling into the same traps that led to the downfall of civilizations in the past. The first step is awareness, acknowledging the moral and ethical crises we face and understanding the consequences of ignoring them. We must question whether we are complicit in perpetuating these systems of corruption and injustice, even in small ways, or if we are actively working to change them. Are we choosing empathy over self-interest, justice over convenience, and kindness over cruelty. Nostradamus's warnings are not simply a call to fear but a call to action. He does not merely predict the downfall of humanity but urges us to take responsibility for our actions. He presents a world where the opportunity for spiritual renewal exists, even in the face of judgment. While the consequences of moral decay may be harsh, the possibility of redemption remains. By returning to values of compassion, integrity, and respect for life, humanity can avoid the spiritual punishment Nostradamus foresaw and pave the way for a more just and equitable world. As we continue to grapple with our own moral challenges, it is vital that we consider Nostradamus's prophecy not as an inevitability, but as a warning and a guide. The future remains unwritten, and the path we choose, whether one of continued decline or one of spiritual renewal, lies in our hands. It is not too late to change course, to mend the moral fabric of our society, and to ensure that our legacy is one of integrity rather than ruin. Chapter 4: The Warnings and Hope Amidst Chaos. While Nostradamus's prophecies are filled with grim predictions of natural disasters, societal collapse, and spiritual reckoning, there is also an underlying thread of hope woven throughout his quatrains. Beneath the darkness of impending calamities, he emphasized the importance of faith and spiritual vigilance as the means to navigate through these turbulent times. His message was not one of despair, but rather one of resilience, a call for humanity to remain steadfast in their beliefs and remain connected to a higher power, no matter how dire the circumstances may become. In the face of natural disasters, wars, and widespread suffering, Nostradamus urged people to rely on their faith for protection. He specifically mentioned that those who remain vigilant in their spirituality, through prayer, self-reflection, and adherence to divine laws, would find themselves shielded from the worst effects of the chaos around them. He spoke of a divine protection that would act as a safeguard for the faithful, ensuring that they endure the trials without being consumed by the full extent of the catastrophe. While the physical world might descend into turmoil, the spiritual world would remain a refuge for those who maintain their connection to a higher purpose. This message of hope amidst chaos is particularly resonant today, as many of us feel the weight of uncertainty bearing down on us. Whether it's the constant barrage of bad news, the unpredictability of natural disasters, or the deep divisions in society, it often feels as though the world is teetering on the edge of collapse. In such times, Nostradamus's call to remain grounded in faith and spirituality offers a sense of solace and purpose. He reminded us that while the external world may be filled with turmoil, our internal strength and connection to our values can be the anchor that keeps us steady. In many ways, Nostradamus's vision of hope is not just a religious or spiritual call, but also a psychological one. The resilience he spoke of is rooted in the ability to withstand hardship, to endure suffering, and to hold on to one's beliefs even when everything around seems to be crumbling. It is a reminder that in times of despair, our faith, whether in a higher power, in ourselves, or in the goodness of humanity, can provide the strength needed to survive and rebuild. This concept of resilience is crucial in today's world, where many people are facing overwhelming challenges, whether it's coping with the effects of climate change, struggling with personal loss, or confronting a rapidly changing social and political landscape. The idea of holding on to one's inner strength can provide much-needed comfort. Nostradamus's prophecy suggests that no matter how deep the darkness may get, those who keep their faith and stay connected to their core beliefs will be able to withstand the storm. Moreover, his emphasis on remaining indoors, praying ceaselessly, and staying spiritually vigilant is not just a metaphor for physical protection, but also a guide for emotional and mental fortitude. It suggests that, in times of crisis, we must turn inward, not in fear or desperation, but in a conscious effort to protect our peace of mind. Through prayer, meditation, and mindfulness, we can find the clarity and peace needed to navigate through life's darkest moments. The inner strength cultivated during such times becomes a shield, enabling us to confront the external chaos without losing ourselves to it. This message of hope is a powerful antidote to the fear and anxiety that often accompany predictions of catastrophe. Nostradamus did not just foresee a world in chaos, he also envisioned a path forward for those willing to maintain their spiritual resolve. It's a call to hold fast to hope, to find comfort in the belief that even in the most trying of circumstances, we can endure if we stay true to our values and beliefs. His message is not one of passivity, but of active resilience, encouraging us to fortify our minds, hearts, and spirits against the forces of despair, in a world where uncertainty reigns. Nostradamus's prophecy offers a profound reminder: the greatest source of protection lies within us. By nurturing our faith, practicing spiritual discipline, and staying true to our higher purpose, we can find the strength to weather even the most violent storms. Through this inner resilience, we can rise above the darkness and emerge stronger on the other side. It is a message of hope that transcends time, a reminder that no matter how dear the world may seem, we have the power to endure and transcend. Chapter 5: The Divine Judgment and Deliverance. One of the most unsettling aspects of Nostradamus's prophecy is his depiction of divine judgment. His vision describes a world plagued by violent natural disasters, earthquakes that shake the very foundations of the earth, storms that ravage cities, and fires that consume everything in their path. These calamities are not random events, according to Nostradamus, but divine acts meant to remind humanity of its place in the grand cosmic order. This judgment is not a slow, gradual process but a swift and unyielding reckoning, striking with immense force and without mercy. The underlying message is clear: humanity's disregard for divine laws and moral principles will lead to swift consequences for those who have lived in ignorance of higher spiritual truths. This judgment will be painful and inevitable. However, what makes Nostradamus's vision even more profound is the dual nature of this prophecy. While he foresees a time of great suffering and upheaval, he also promises that this period of divine judgment will not be without redemption. After the 3 days of darkness and the trial of suffering, a time of peace will follow. The sun, once obscured, will shine again, bringing light and hope to a weary world. According to Nostradamus, this is when the divine presence will manifest in full, with angels descending from the heavens to bring about the renewal of the earth. Those who have withstood the trials of the dark days with faith will find themselves reborn into a new world, one free from the corruption and decay that had once plagued it. This narrative of divine judgment followed by deliverance mirrors the concept of spiritual purification, a theme that is central to many religious and philosophical teachings. It suggests that humanity must first endure a period of intense suffering and hardship in order to be cleansed of its sins and moral failings. Only after this purification can true renewal and grace take place. It is a concept that echoes through the traditions of many faiths, where suffering is often seen as a necessary step towards spiritual growth and redemption. In this sense, Nostradamus's prophecy is not just a prediction of destruction, but also a message of hope and spiritual restoration. The idea of divine judgment is not merely about punishment, it is about awakening, a wake-up call for humanity to recognize its flaws and make a conscious effort to change. The suffering that accompanies judgment is not meant to be an end, but a beginning. It is an opportunity for humanity to reassess its values, reconnect with higher spiritual truths, and emerge from the darkness with a renewed sense of purpose and morality. For those who have remained faithful and steadfast, there is a promise of peace and harmony that will restore balance to a world in turmoil. This theme of perseverance through hardship is particularly resonant in our current times. With the growing sense of global instability, whether due to environmental crises, political unrest, or social inequality, many people are left questioning what lies ahead. Nostradamus's message of divine judgment and deliverance offers a powerful reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is hope. Those who maintain their faith and live in alignment with spiritual principles can endure the trials that lie ahead, and they will be rewarded with renewal and peace. This message is both a warning and an invitation, a call to confront our moral shortcomings and, through faith and perseverance, to emerge stronger and more aligned with our highest purpose. In a world that often seems overwhelmed by chaos, the idea of divine judgment followed by redemption offers a path to spiritual clarity. It teaches us that the most difficult trials may be the ones that lead us to a deeper understanding of ourselves and our place in the world. As we face the challenges of the modern era, Nostradamus's prophecy encourages us to hold fast to our faith and values. It reminds us that no matter how dark the storm may become, there is always the possibility of a new dawn, a time when the light of truth and grace will shine through, bringing peace and restoration to a fractured world. For those who endure, redemption is not just a possibility, it is a promise. Nostradamus's prophecies, with their eerie predictions of cataclysmic events and divine reckoning, continue to captivate the human imagination. For centuries, these cryptic quatrains have stirred a deep sense of awe and fear, compelling us to confront the uncertainties that lie ahead. The 3 days of darkness, along with the natural disasters and societal collapse Nostradamus foresaw, may seem distant or even fantastical, but they resonate on a deeper level, reflecting the struggles we face today. The challenges of moral decay, environmental destruction, and spiritual decline are not mere predictions, they are realities we are living through now, manifesting in our daily lives in subtle and not so subtle ways. While Nostradamus's language may be veiled in mystery, his message is clear: the most profound trials humanity will face are not solely physical, but spiritual and moral. The darkness he described, whether literal or symbolic, serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of our world and our own inner compass. It calls us to examine our lives, to ask whether we are living in alignment with our higher principles, and to prepare for a future where our faith, values, and inner strength will determine our survival. The true power of Nostradamus's prophecies lies not in their specific details but in their universal lessons. In times of crisis, be it environmental, social, or personal, the key to enduring and overcoming lies within us. It is our unwavering faith, our commitment to moral integrity, and our willingness to adhere to higher spiritual truths that will guide us through the most tumultuous of times. These trials may test our resolve, but they also offer the potential for growth and redemption, even in the darkest of moments. When the world around us seems on the brink of collapse, there is always the hope of light emerging from the darkness. As we face the challenges of our time, let us not forget the lessons hidden within Nostradamus's cryptic visions. In times of fear and uncertainty, let us remain resilient, spiritually vigilant, and rooted in our values. For those who stay true to their faith, the promise of redemption is always within reach. The darkness may come, but as long as we believe in the possibility of light, we will endure. It is through our perseverance, our inner strength, and our commitment to a higher purpose that we will not only survive, but thrive.